a dream anymore.
Well, we lived in McMaster Hospital for 6 months, and since then we've had, she's 3, almost 4 years old now. We've had 120 or so 911 calls, ambulance trips back to the hospital. So she's got to be in the 200 ballpark for her.
Jax has supraventricular tachycardia. So what that means is on occasion, or unfortunately pretty frequently, instead of a heartbeat starting and then stopping like it should for the next heartbeat to stop later, it kind of re-enters a different part of the heart and goes into a circuit that just sort of continues upon itself. So the heart rate goes from what should be about 100 at that age to about 180. And then Jax will feel unwell, come in with her parents, and the way we can reset that heart is by giving a medication called adenosine, which will kind of cause a very brief 2-second pause so that that circuit is broken and the regular heart rhythm of starting, stopping for the next one to start again can resume. Only once we stop it briefly, very briefly, can that circuit reset.
The way that we ended up here is that we were living in Guelph. We were going to move. Jax was SVT free for about 8 months, and then one day we were here in Collingwood, long story short, and she ended up having an episode. We immediately called 911, go to Collingwood General, and for the first time ever, they were able to get the IV site in and have the medication administered, I want to say within like 35 minutes.
Yeah, give or take.
So Drew and I just both looked at each other in shock, because typically it can be like 2 to 3 hours before the IV site's even found. And we just kind of just started crying and said, like, we're moving here.
We were home within an hour and a half, where normally an hour and a half we're still holding her down trying to get an IV site. So, and then at that point we're like, okay, like, well, give Collingwood a shot. And then another episode happened and the same thing happened, and then we're like, okay, well, Collingwood it is. Collingwood General has done an amazing job taking care of her, better than any hospital that we've come through so far.
And the doctors all know who she is, and once they found out that she was part of the community, they were doing trainings about her, they were calling us, they literally will do anything they can in their power to make sure that at all times if Jax enters the hospital, like, they're ready to go for her. So they made it pretty easy to make the decision to move here.
It's pretty startling the number of times Jax has had SVT in her life. I've been doing this job for a little over 10 years now, so nothing surprises me too much for the most part, but not just that she has the condition, but the number of times it comes up and how disruptive that is for Jax and her life and her family, and what they've been through as it relates to specialists and all that is pretty surprising and certainly unusual, not only for us in Collingwood, but I'm sure would probably be unusual for care Jax has received, in Hamilton and other places prior to here. We have a team here headlined by Dr. Gus Gaw, as well as a lot of our nursing staff and our respiratory therapists around taking care of really critically ill patients in a number of scenarios. And I'm very, very confident in the ability of our eMERGE staff, whether it be somebody who's been here for a year or two, many of our staff coming through the program themselves and learning from us, or someone who I've learned from who's 10 years more experienced than me. I think we've got a phenomenal team as it relates to resuscitating all sorts of people, to be honest, whether they're pediatric or wherever they are in their life phase. Like, I'm just quite confident in our team.
Collingwood's special, man. Like, we're big snowboarders, we're very active. Like, we don't get to travel. We don't get to do the things that we typically, wish that you could do as a family. And Collingwood's a great place to live, and it's just given us the ability to live our life and with freedom.
Relieves a lot of stress.
Yeah.
In a very stressful situation. It takes it from like a 10 to like 6, 7 easily. So it's definitely helpful.
I feel like everybody here in Collingwood, it's like we all know each other's stories and we're all here to support each other. Like, even when we do Jax Pays It Forward, we did our first year for Collingwood General this year, but we've done it for Ronald McDonald the past 2 years. But this is the first year that we held it right in Collingwood. and people we didn't even know came from like everywhere. I just think that it's a great community where it's like everybody is like going to support each other.
Whatever storms may arise, I'm forever here, right by your side. Oh.
So Jax is going to be getting surgery. She'll be getting something that we call an ablation. So essentially, they'll be going in and just closing off the opening where her arrhythmia will circulate through. So, and hopefully we never have another episode again. No more monitors, no more medications, just a normal, active life, living the dream.
10 million suns across the sky won't outshine my love for you.
We all live here. We all need to use the hospital, and we all know how busy the hospital can get, right? The hospital needs to expand. They need to have the machines that they need. They need up-to-date equipment. They need to have the space they need to have the beds for the heads. And I think that if we live in this community, we need to support the community like we're talking about and help families like ours and other families that need a space to go to. And without the community supporting it and raising those funds, then we're never going to get to the goal that we want for Collingwood General Hospital. So I would highly encourage anybody in the community to be doing a fundraiser and supporting the ones that are happening, because it helps so much. Say Collingwood Hospital #1.
Collingwood number 1.
2 thumbs up.